Let's get the clock started. 5 European leagues: English Premier League, Bundesliga, Ligue 1 in France, Serie A, of course, in Italy, and La Liga in Spain. Rank them, Mike Palm, we'll start with you. You won the coin toss. Rank them in watchability, like having fun watching the leagues.
Well, that's a tough question. We have to start out with the Premier League. That's the best soccer in the world. La Liga's way down. I would say now second is Serie A. Then I would go Ligue 1 in France, then Bundesliga, then La Liga in Spain. And I would have put Spain second for many years.
In terms of watchability, I will go with Premier League, Bundesliga. I would go with then La Liga, Serie A, and Ligue 1 in France. I think it's much more defensive. Serie A is much more defensive. Bundesliga, you wind up every Saturday, there's a 4-3 game. I mean, it could be Hoffenheim, it could be Dortmund, it's 4-3. It's just a much more entertaining game for the average viewer to watch. Mike's point, though, on the Premier League, I would actually put Bundesliga up there higher if you're just a casual fan, but Premier League, as you guys know, is the best soccer in the world.
Okay, back now to Dustin's questions. Dustin can't even grade that one. He doesn't know.
It was a pass. No. Honestly, it's a big opportunity for one of you because you're definitely going to win for Patrick.
One of them won. You're right. Well, Amal, you're next. Does an undefeated Florida State deserve to be in the college football playoff?
Yes. There's only been 13 teams out of the 36 that have been selected in the college football playoff so far in the 9 years that have been undefeated. So to be a team that gets in now, being potentially, say, 14th as Florida State, Michigan 15th, and Georgia 16, that's an impressive achievement out of 40 teams potentially. So Florida State running the table, even with a backup quarterback, 100% deserves to be in at 14-0 or 13-0.
The backup quarterback should be irrelevant to the conversation. It's about the body of work. If you're a Power 5 team and you go undefeated, you have to be in, unless there's all five went undefeated, and then you have to make a decision. This is an easy year for the committee, in my opinion. Florida State said you could have 4 undefeated Power 5 teams in Michigan, Georgia, Washington, and Florida State, and if Oregon beats Washington, they're the one that gets in.
Okay, Mike Palm, you're next. Who is the best Heisman winner you watched? Not the Heisman winner this year. Heisman winner you've watched.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 2010 and Cam Newton. I thought he was the most dominant player in college football I've ever seen, maybe outside of Herschel Walker in '82. Almost 3,000 yards passing that year, 28 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, and how about 1,500 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns? You couldn't stop him from leaning forward for 4 yards.
Patrick, I love that call. Him and I both agreed. We didn't see enough of Barry Sanders. I thought Sanders was an obvious choice. But for me, I'm going to go with Joe Burrow 2019. LSU goes undefeated, has an incredible year. Just like Cam Newton wins the Triple Crown, national championship, first overall pick, and Heisman Trophy. But how about the ridiculous numbers Joe Burrow had? 60 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And how about in the college football playoff, a record that will never be broken? 7 against Oklahoma and 5 against Clemson to wind up with 12 there, 6 rushing touchdowns. This guy was unbelievable the season he put together.
Isn't that the title game? You bet me 3,000 straight up. You had Clemson, yeah, I had LSU. Exactly. No point spread.
Amal Shah, where will Bill Belichick be coaching next year?
You know, this is a great question. I think it's an interesting one. I think it's going to be the Washington Commanders because I think Belichick will be able to command so much money. Josh Harrison Company will pay that money to be able to attract someone of that cachet and what he's done in the past. And the Commanders, I don't know if there's a team right now in all of professional sports that needs an image overhaul and just an absolute changing of the guard more so than the Washington Commanders.
I agree with Amal Shah here. They have the opportunity because of the new ownership. They need an adult in the room. They've got plenty of high draft picks on those, and especially on that defense. They finally got rid of Del Rio. And I think they have the most room to err because of the new ownership situation. I think he would be seen as a negative hire in some places.
This is a great question from the big guy. Mike, you're up. Iowa's total touchdowns for Saturday are set at 0.5. Are you going over or are you going under?
Well, I'm going to go under, and then you can bet yes on a special team or defensive touchdown to hedge that, because that's the only way they're going to score. They're not driving the ball down the field. They might block a punt. They might return a punt, something like that. By the way, at DraftKings, they have Iowa's first half and second half total both set at 0.5 point. Slightly 1/2 point. Slight league juice to the over. $1.25 first half, $1.35 second half.
I would take the 1/2 point over because they've got one of the great kickers in college football. They get inside the 35-yard line. You know he's already thinking field goal. But in terms of Iowa, I will take a chance and roll the dice here and go over on the 1/2 a touchdown. They have scored in every game a touchdown this year, except the game against Penn State where they got shut out. Remember last year they put up 14 points against the Wolverines in that 27-14 loss against Michigan. So I will take Iowa to score in this game, a touchdown.
Amal, Denver at plus 135 or the Bills at 4-1 to make the postseason?
You got to go Denver here at plus 135. Denver's got a much more manageable schedule, and most importantly, Denver has a 24-22 win over Buffalo on Monday Night Football, which we all saw, and that's the reason why Denver in a tiebreaker is going to get that head-to-head advantage. When you look at the schedule down the stretch, Buffalo's on a bye. They still got the Kansas City Chiefs, then they got that's on the road at Arrowhead, and then they've got the Dallas Cowboys who come calling. When you look at this Denver Broncos team, they've got the Houston Texans coming up this week. That's a direct team that you could potentially knock out of playoff contention with a victory this weekend down in Houston. So I'll go with the Denver Broncos, and currently sitting a half game ahead in the loss. Sorry.
I tried to make an argument for the Bills because of the difference in price at plus $4, but I agree with them all. They're probably only going to be favored in 1, maybe 2 games. I don't know what you make them against home against the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been great for 6 weeks. Denver has 6 games remaining. All of them winnable. They'll be favored in at least 3. They just and the tiebreaker over the Bills. I'll go with the Broncos there.
Okay, Mike Palm, you're up. What is the perfect thermostat temperature at home?
Well, I assume this is a year-round question because it doesn't distinguish it. So in the summer, I set it at 76, and in the winter at 68. So let's go right in the middle. 72 is your year-round temperature.
That's my number. That was the number I was going to go with, 72. That's what I keep it at in the wintertime. And to me, in the summertime, also keep it around 72. So I'll go with that.
72 in the summer. You must have outrageous NV energy bills here.
You both are psychopaths. My thing is under 70 almost all summer.
Well, we don't make as much money as you.
And
Dustin Swedelson's ego showing up for Palm in the Prince.
Psychos. You want to sweat your own
that cash is at minus 180, Patrick.
we knew it was coming. Just to let you know, Dustin, I had an opinion as well, but it's not my game. If you committed murder,
you're an unhinged human being. You said it at like 80.
I know. If you committed murder, Amal Shah, allegedly. Now, this might be the two of you entering each other. Who at VSiN would you call to help you hide the body?
So my first call probably would have been to Mike Palm. He's probably the closest of anybody I am at VSiN. But the problem is I'm concerned with Palm. It would be like taking out an ad in the New York Times the next day. That's my one concern about telling Mike. Other than that, I'll call Britton Hess.
So you're saying that he would then let the press know that Amal killed somebody?
No, he would just say there might be a body in Lake Mead.
Okay.
Mike, I'll tell you one thing. I got to give Mike, because Mike's a close friend of mine. He would never throw me under the bus, but he would just be like this. He'd be like, hey, guys, you might want to look over there.
You're both going to jail then. Okay. Mike Palm, you're up. Who's hiding the body with you?
I think there's 2 criteria here. You have to pick someone that you trust implicitly. But the second criteria is there anything in their past or present lives that the authorities could leverage them with? So the first criteria, I say Amal and Mitch Moss, and then I'm going to roll the dice and say Mitch has fewer skeletons in his closet that he could be compromised with. So Mitch Moss is my choice.
By the way, statute of limitations on fraud has expired a long time ago.
I'm interjecting again here.
What?
Mitch is so moral. He would never agree to it. He would never help you. You'd be asking another person. So now you're more liable because you have more people knowing you killed someone.
See, I would
Last
actually,
question.
I was going to say, I was going to actually pick somebody I wouldn't like, so I can hit him on the head with a shovel when I'm burying the other body.
Okay. Mike, you're up. And this is the last one for both of you.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see as the Final Four in the college football playoff?
Great question.
Well, I'd like to see the best 4 teams that could win it. But that can't happen because Oregon and Washington both can't get in. I want to see Georgia. I want to see Michigan. Probably I want to see Oregon, and then by process of elimination of what you could get in, I think Texas prevents more of a problem for those other 3 than Florida State would.
I would like to see Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and I would like to see Texas in there. However, I'll make the argument Washington could get in. If Texas loses, Bama loses, and Florida State lose, how about Oregon, Washington, Michigan, and Georgia?
Okay, Dustin, they agreed on a lot this week.
Yes.
So I have 2 for Palm, 2 for Amal, 2 wins for Palm, 2 wins for Amal, and 5 pushes.
Oh, I only have 2 pushes.
Oh, boy.
So you got a winner here. Then.
I have a winner.
He has Amal Shah.
I have 4-3 Amal Shah.
Oh, so that makes it 2 back-to-back?
He's looking to go Kirby Smart next week.
Wait, no. That means Palm has won 2 straight and Amal's won 2 straight.
Yes.
Right?
I don't know, but I got to give Dustin credit. I love the questions he asked. I love the body one. That was a great one. And then, in terms of the college football playoff, very quickly, guys, how about the scenario where we get Washington and Oregon in there potentially?
What?
Texas, Alabama.
They want to do something nice for a conference that won't exist after the game.
Jared, I'm just saying. Can you imagine the amount of money Washington State and Oregon State can hold ransom against these other schools?
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.